det är sånt sjukt bra kast så att... Yes! Vilket jävla fantastiskt... vilket underbart jävla hugg! Ja, jag la den ju så jävla nära land så att det var helt sjukt liksom.
What's up guys? Welcome back to another fly tying video here at the 700 TV channel. Before we jump into the actual time, I'm just going to mention quickly that I've changed the format slightly for this video. I've only done close-up filming. It saves me a whole lot of time, and I really wanted to put out a new fly tying video for you guys. So to save some time and to be able to put something out before I go on my vacation, I've only done close-up. You still won't escape my boring voiceovers though, so hopefully you will enjoy it anyway. And before we jump into discussing what fly I'm tying, I'm just gonna tell you something that I'm actually very excited about. Nayat is back. Oh yeah, my old favorite material is back. It's been picked up by Fly Dressing here in Scandinavia and the Nordics, and they've done a really good job with it so far. Foxy Tails that used to sell, and they do still sell, Nayat has done a really great job with the material. But I think this time what Fly Dressing is going to do with it is they're going to sell the top-notch stuff, the really long ones that's going to fit perfectly for pike flies, and also going to make it slightly more accessible for everyone. So I'm very excited about that. So to kind of celebrate that, I've actually tied a fly, or we are going to tie a fly that uses some Nayat in it. And yes, it's another flash tail version. This one is actually loosely based on another fellow pike fly fisherman, and also a YouTube content creator called Paul Monaghan. Sorry for any mispronunciation there, mate. But his flash tail version is really good, really interesting. So it got me thinking, and this is loosely based on that pattern. And it uses Nayat, as I said. Also uses the Predator dubbing for head that I've come to love so much. You can basically tie this, as with all my patterns, in a lot of different colors. I've actually fished a lot of this kind of dark olive, gold and green color as well. But today we're gonna tie it in this sort of a firetiger perch kind of thing. It's been working quite well for me. It was the fly that worked by far the best when me and El Capitan went up north earlier this summer to catch some northern pikes. This was the shit back then. You can fish it quite aggressively. I've fished it the most during quite warm weather and warm waters as well, so you can fish it very fast. You like to fish it on a sink 3 or even a sink 5 and fish it really fast. And it's a single hook pattern. It's not by any means a very large pattern, but I think sometimes we tend to forget the smaller flies. And this is not a tiny fly. It's you know, 20 centimeters plus something pattern, so would represent kind of the standard size of the baitfish in many waters where the pike exists. So I think you're gonna enjoy it. I enjoy tying it, and I enjoy fishing with it. And one of the advantages with being a single hook pattern is also that it's so much easier to cast than compared to articulated double hooks or wiggle tail patterns. But with that said, you can easily convert this to a wiggle tail pattern. Basically just cut down the flash a little bit, add the titanium wire and your favorite wiggle tail, and you're good to go. So I think that's it. Let's just jump into the tying, and I hope you're gonna enjoy yourself. Let's go.
So even if I have changed the format slightly, you still won't get rid of my boring voiceovers. So this fly really relies on two things: its tail of flash to add movement and, well, flash, and its big bulky head to push water. It's a very modern traditional fly that uses a lot of well-known techniques. first thing we're going to tie in is a bunch of yellow bucktail. You can use hairs from the middle of the tail, since it's not necessary for it to flare out like when you're tying hollow style. Instead, it's meant for supporting the flash to prevent it from tangling around the hook so much. Cut off a nice bunch of hairs and rinse it from the shorter hairs and underfur. I like to place the hair on top and sides of the shank. This will keep the flash tail more to the top and will furthermore prevent it from tangling, as well as making it look nicer. Cut off the excess bucktail hair and add some super glue to secure it. Next we're adding Nayat. This will be used both to add color and movement to the tail, but also to support the flash not falling through the bucktail. You can use a lot of synthetic materials for this, like SF blend or pike skins, if you can't get hold of Nayat. Comb through the Nayat before cutting it off the pelt, then comb through the root ends just a couple of times to remove most of the underfur. Tie this in once again on top and sides of the shank, just in front of the bucktail, to cover the bucktail before cutting off the excess. The flash I'm using here is the Hedron Predator flash in the firetiger blend. I like to move the cable strip to the top of the flash bundle like this, so that I can utilize the full length of the flash. Cut up a big bunch of flash, then fold it together and cut it in half like this. Then taper the end of the flash bundle before tying it in, roughly 60/4 spread. Keep the flash also on top and sides of the hook. Fold the forward facing flash back and tie it all in and secure with super glue. For the body, I'm once again using Baitfish emulator flash from Hairline, in a light olive color this time. Tie it in front of the flash tail with a few hard turns of thread, and then move the thread forward. Wrap the body material forward and make sure you stroke it back repeatedly to try not to trap any fibers down. And tie it off around roughly a centimeter behind the hook eye. It's important to leave enough room to build a bulky head here. Then use a dubbing needle to pick out any trapped fibers, and finally secure this tying point with some super glue. So we're going to tie in a hollow tiled bucktail collar here. Again, I'm using yellow bucktail, and this time I choose the hairs at the bottom of the tail for maximum flaring. Place it around the hook shank and wrap 2 loose wraps before tightening it all to spread the hairs around the shank of the hook. To secure this tying point, I put super glue to the thread and then force it into the bucktail tie here. Now fold the bucktail back and build a nice long cone of thread in front of it to force it back. The head is going to be built up by Predator dubbing from fly dressing. And we're going to start with the base of olive Predator dubbing. To get an even spread around, I'm starting with tying in a good bunch of the fibers on top of the hook. Then I flip the fly over and tie in another at the bottom. Make sure they both meet and slightly overlap at the sides. Then go forward with the thread. Fold the dubbing back and tie a few wraps of thread in front of it, and comb it all through to blend the colors together. Now take some black Predator dubbing and tie this in on the top of the hook and slightly to the sides. Then flip the fly over and tie in a good bunch of fat cat brown dubbing on the bottom. Again, fold both sides back, move the thread forward and tie in a few wraps of thread to force it all back. Secure it with a small drop of super glue once again before combing it all through. Final section of the head now. So use another black section for the top and a section of red row for the bottom. Now don't overdo the red section though, you still want that peachy fat cat brown to shine through. Fold it all back and tie the fly off here. Try pulling the thread horizontally backwards in line with the shank of the hook here for every turn. This will force the thread beneath the head material and hide it, the thread that is, while at the same time lifting the head up to provide more volume. Once you've cut off the thread, you can go over the fly one more time with your comb. To shape the head and further protect it, you can pull all the materials back with one hand like this. Then while holding it down, you add a small amount of super glue around the base of the head like this. Just stroke it slightly up into the material. Then wipe off any excess glue and let go of the head material. It's really starting to look the dog's bollocks now, isn't it? Now we're going to add some 11mm epoxy eyes to it. I'm using the green ones from fly dressing here. Simply put some super glue gel on each eye. First you place them carefully on each side, and once you're happy with the placement, you press down gently to fasten them on each side. Last thing I'm doing is adding a small amount of Gulp UV resin just to shape the head. Place a drop of the resin at the base of the head and use the nozzle of the bottle to stroke some of the resin back and up into the head material. Then do the same thing underneath and cure it with the lamp.
And there you have it, another flash tail version. Fun fly to tie, a fun fly to fish with. So I hope you enjoy yourself. I hope you learned something today as well. And hopefully I'll see you soon again with another fly tying video. So thanks for stopping by. Until the next time, do like the pike too. Stay sharp. Peace!